I wasn't thinking about that, but no, it's a booster, bro.
It's a booster. Oh.
Hey everyone, this is Cardfight. I bring you another standard match. Today we are starting off the set 13 content with two decks that, well, one deck that got supported in set 13 and another deck that I am continuing to cope with. But as you'll see, I've actually been doing something with this deck, and let's see how it does. Anyways, I guess I should probably mention, this is Greedon on the right, or that's actually the left, and this is my Messiah build on the left. I have a new build for Messiah, and I think that this build has fixed a lot of the issues that Messiah has and is potentially actually a threat. I don't know how good it is in set 13, but, I'm going to continue to test this as we continue with this meta. So anyways, riding into that was it a Sleep Messiah? Yeah, it's a Sleep Messiah, because the original is Neon Messiah Sween. Just going to be taking it, not getting a trigger, just drive checking that Klein, which is pretty good, because it is a combo piece. Anyways, Greedon is going to be riding up here into grade 2, revealing the Greedon in the ride deck in order to draw another card. Next up, calling out that little horse. I really hate that horse. That horse is very annoying. I actually faced against Greedon in BCS, and I managed to deck him out, but that horse was very annoying, as we're going to be seeing it swing in. Just going to be no or O2 passing the Vanguard. Of course, not going to be hitting there. Just going to be taking the attack from the horse. Unfortunately, hitting into a defensive, so it would have been nice if we had known that. But of course, we can't always have nice things. Doesn't matter. That's Vanguard. Using Habitable Zone, discarding it, Soul Blasting 1, and drawing a card. I think I said this in my original Messiah deck profile, but I think using the Soul for Habitable Zone is kind of just getting an advance on your draws. And here we see the reason that I think this deck, or the one card I think that really fixes this deck, going to be that Refrainment dock, which is basically, if you remember what I said in my tier list for set 12, I think Messiah would be so much better if you could actually use Bowl Mine. And then, of course, I thought, okay, what if I try to use Bowl Mine? And I think I'm going to say this all in the deck profile, so I'll keep it brief. But basically, it's an aura card that replaces itself, and as we saw there, it kind of just made a 20k column for free, which is very cool. And we're going to see some of the other utility that it has as we continue into this match. Unfortunately, we did hit into a heal trigger there as one of the two damages. We got a critical trigger there, giving it to the 20k column. Going to be swinging for 30, not going to be able to guard that. We would have pushed our opponent to 3 there, but unfortunately, we did see that heal. And of course, you do want to be pushing as much damage when you're going up against Greedon, because Greedon is that only deck that can not die at 6. So it can be very annoying. We do see Greedon actually going for the Masques. Greedon definitely one of the few Masques decks that can actually, get away with doing Mask whether it's going first or second, because honestly, we gave Greedon Mask so much shit when it first came out. I think that it's actually a lot better than we initially anticipated, but of course, I'll let the video speak for itself. But Greedon Mask is honestly just like one of those decks that can just, it doesn't really care about getting the extra Persona ride. Greedon Mask is just a vast improvement over the original Greedon, so much so that it doesn't really matter, and that you would prefer to just be on new Greedon instead of, just waiting for that Persona ride, because Greedon unfortunately doesn't really make back as much advantage as Mask Greedon does. Anyways, we see the quite a bit of deck thinning here, using the Dragon Tree Wrench in order to search out the Mask, using the Mask itself in order to actually just check off 5, searching out a Persona ride, and then of course using Mask Greedon skill, which is going to let you remove the other Greedon and check top 7 for a Desire Devil and just straight up add it to your hand. You do see another copy of that horse being added to the hand, meaning that that horse is very annoying because it is actually a retire for the deck. So whenever it gets put into Soul by your Vanguard's ability, you can retire a rear guard. I think there might be another condition, but whatever. That's essentially what it does. It does also have a Battle Door effect from the Soul, but you aren't always able to use that because you do need to keep 3 Desire Devils. That is the one lacking condition that Masques really has. It's not that terrible to manage your Soul, but when you're going to like the first turn, your first restand, your first grade 3 turn, it can be a little bit of an issue getting those 3. into Soul. But anyways, we're swinging here, going to be not using any skills, probably going to be sucking up the back row as well as the horse on the Dragon Tree marker, because as you're going to see, Greedon does have a very consistent 4 attacks with all the new support. So this is just probably the weakest Vanguard swing. We're going to be guarding it for, what is that, 25? Only going to be swinging at 13. Honestly, I think we probably should have just done a 15 2 to pass, but at the same time, 2 to passing Greedon can be very scary, because since it is a restanding Vanguard, there is nothing to stop them from putting basically all of their eggs in one basket and putting everything onto their Greedon. So Greedon's going to swing here for the second time, and then using the skill of that boar from the soul. When your Vanguard attacks, if it's the second battle this turn, you can call it out, and then of course it does get an extra 5k. Putting on that Dragon Tree marker makes it a nice 23k, so that's a number that's going to be hitting over defensive. We do see the horse being used here, binding it, since we do have enough Desire Devils in the Soul in order to initiate a battle door for this battle. So we're going to be drive checking 1, drive checking 2, getting another critical trigger. So with a total of 2 critical triggers, that's going to make a total of 3 damage. Unfortunately, not getting any defensives and hitting into that Refrainment dock into the damage zone. Although I will say only the first Refrainment dock matters. You don't really care about the extra copies. They're just kind of cycles for a CB, which is why I think it is just the best, as this other swing comes in for 25, being forced to call 2 cards in order to guard it. But that being said, Masques still does have quite a few cards in hand. We guarded with 4 cards, and we still have a decent amount. But of course, going second means that we are going to actually be able to stride here on our first grade 3 turn. So calling out the Waking Messiah in order to Soul Charge 1, Soul Charging that last Refrainment dock, and then of course using Stride skill to lock both the Asleep as well as the grade 3, because that is a really annoying grade 3. If it gets sucked up, you can obviously just use the skill again. So we do have a pretty decent setup here with the Arrestor as well as the Klein. Klein going to be put behind the Awaking. I will note right now that this is not me playing my deck. This is my test monkey Ryan playing my deck. But he's going to be swinging with the Klein, which is just going to be 15, so that's just 5k guard. The one issue I will say that Masques still has is that, you know, the first couple of swings are not really that powerful. As we see, there's 2 15s. At the same time, that's not the worst, because it kind of prompts them to use their shield. We see 10k shield being used to guard that 15k attack, because, you know, 5k guards, even though they are really easy, they are also still like combo pieces. As we see the Vanguard swing for 38 here, probably not going to be wanting to guard that, just because, you know, it's a big number. You either PG it or you don't guard it all. We see 1 crit and then a second crit, dealing a total of 3 damage on this one swing, and then giving the power to the other Arrestor. Now do note that the Awakening Messiah, when it was unlocked, it gave an extra 10k power to the Arrestor in front of it. So normally that's kind of not that great, but now with the Refrainment dock, that becomes a 20k boost, because, you know, that Awakening is now a booster. So in general, just like so much power is made from there. And then 3 cards unlocking, then Soul Blast 3 in order to draw 3 cards there. So I think we did actually see a little bit of a misplay. That Arrestor, I believe, should have been at 45 if I did all my math correctly. And of course, you know, we got it for 43. But, you know, small mistakes happen. We probably just miscalculated an extra 5k, which is something you don't want to be doing when you're playing Messiah. You need every advantage you can get, because you're not playing the greatest deck. I think this is still kind of like a B tier deck, even with my new adjustments. And then we see Greedon going to 6, which is something you don't hear very often, because usually when you're at 6, you're dying. We see another really cool combo play from Greedon here, using the grade 1 wrench in order to call out the Goemon, and then of course putting the Goemon in Soul in order to use its skill to give Battle Door to this entire turn. So I think at this point Messiah only has 3 cards in hand, so with 3 attacks we would need a total of, what is that, 6 cards, which we just do not have. As we flip over another critical trigger there, just giving all the effects probably to that crow there. And then even if we can guard one of these attacks, we do have to take the other one. We always guard the crit one, but unfortunately it looks like we just don't have the shield value in order to do that. So unfortunately that is going to be the match. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to do these 2 things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.